Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot, and welcome to the weekend of July 26th through the 27th. We're almost already done with July. I can't even believe it. But also too, welcome to Leo season. So this weekend, especially with Mercury and the moon and this new moon, I don't know about you guys, but talk about downloads, like VIP access kind of downloads that have just been crazy, vivid dreams, wonderful epiphanies. So this weekend, it gets even more exciting. Before we get started though, I just want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all the ways that you love, support, view, like, share, subscribe, comments with this channel. Truly, your support means the world, and I love you back. So, walking right into Saturday, the moon is moving into Virgo, and it's in wow, that's incredible. Not only in our wheelhouse of Virgo, but in our 12th house of spirituality, divinity connection. It also squares off, thank you, with Uranus in Gemini in our 10th house of career, fame, reputation, achievements, honors. This is where it's like tapping into hidden talents, hidden strengths, uncovering and unveiling the recognition and the acknowledgement of like what strengths you maybe didn't realize you had. And it's coming in with a bang of epiphanies. This is the beginning of prosperity as well, as it ties in with Uranus, with your career, with your fame, with breakthroughs of opportunity. And don't be surprised, just word to the, be forewarned, but in a very positive way. This is also a day where with Virgo, or with the moon being in Virgo in your 12th house, don't be surprised if you're extremely not only tapped into yourself and the divine and your intuition, but with the collective conscious today. There's a lot of wisdom downloads that are coming through from ancestors, angels, past lives even, and also the surrounding energies of the collective conscious right now as well. So be forewarned, be aware. Not only are the downloads coming in, but you also run a consciousness of absorbing other people's energies, not just yours. This is also where, though, with these epiphanies, there's abundance to be had. This is new relationships, new opportunities, fortune, love. Venus plays a role here too. But it's more about the spirituality, the consciousness that brings the joy, the health, the vitality, and really recognizing our souls are intertwined through quantum entanglement. And this is where your intuition is truly leading the way, as well as bringing balance. Part of the 12th house as well is not only hidden strengths, your connection to the divine, your collective flow, but also hidden enemies, and that comes from within as well as around. This is where you're seeing a lot of truth with those breakthroughs. This is where tapping in particularly to your karmic contracts, your soul contracts of past lives are really going to be coming through, and you're making sense of them with that Virgo analytical aspect, right? You're really utilizing your organization with determining and discerning what's yours, what's not, what you've carried through from past lives into this one that need to be released, as well as lessons of your North Node that are truly coming through in new beginning waves. This is also bringing power to you. This is also a place where new ideas are coming through, particularly about how you can tie them in your career, in your fame and your reputation, how you stand up for yourself. And remember, at this point too, Mars is still in Virgo. This is fighting for yourself, fighting for your relationships, standing up for what you believe in. This is where you're making sense of it as your soul has wandered with that heart chakra wide open from lifetime to lifetime. And this is where you're truly leading with your life, with your discernment, with your relationships, with breakthroughs, with the soul's eyes, with that heart language, with that big heart energy. And it also ties in quite a bit to your solar plexus in such a big way. In adaptability, authenticity, what truly makes you tick, what makes you you, tapping into that inner child creativity of what's purely brought joy in what you've enjoyed to do and been called to do since you were a child, right? This is where it's really embracing those ideas, those passions, and also too leading you in a point with Pluto in retrograde in our sixth house of work towards innovation, grounding in your values, and above all, awakening and opening that third eye, establishing that link, and learning to truly trust yourself. Trust whatever was blocking your chakra, or possibly that needed healing, with trusting your inner compass through total surrender and total soul acceptance. This is bringing clarity where if you felt you were in the fog before with the Two of Swords, when it comes in reverse like this, this is where it's like, if you've been kind of a wanderer, right, which is the story of the Virgo, right, the story of the hermit, is to wander, to collect this knowledge, this hermetic mysticism through lifetimes. And then finally, when you reach a point of mastery, to come to a point of convergence with your North Node and to teach, to share with the world what you've learned. This is where you've got clarity like no other on the 26th here. Happy Saturday, just saying. But this is where you're also taking decisive action. You're making decisions where there was fog before, where there was poor judgment before. You were worried about making the wrong decision, wrong choice. This is where you're correcting or course correcting, learning from mistakes, allowing yourself that freedom of imperfection, that journey of learning that comes through taking the detours in a lot of ways, but mostly learning to trust that inner compass. Where you may have once ignored your intuition, this is where you've got epiphanies coming through, where you're really understanding with breakthroughs how to trust yourself, how to trust your guidance, your inner knowing, where are the signals that come through that trigger within the body, so that you can walk through with duality, with balance. And this goes in a lot of ways, not only with yourself, with your inner compass, but also in your partnerships, in your relationships, embracing the polarities within yourself as well, acknowledging the discernment that's come from the choices that you've made, the decisions that still need to be made. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart, share your thoughts in the comments below, because this is all about air energy, right? You've got the heart chakra right away. You've got the third eye right away. This is amazing. This is where it's like you know which way to go. And more importantly, your soul knows the way home. And if there was things that were guiding you, if you've been feeling like you need to travel or restless, I should say as well, this is where your soul's language is truly coming through on Saturday, particularly when it comes to relationships, when it comes to partnerships within your career. Also too with Venus, harmony in your partnerships as well, in the romantic field, in friendships as well. But it's through that cooperation, and it brings harmony to all aspects of your ships. Finding truly what you call in that's compatible, and especially when it comes to karmic contracts with others, you're truly letting go what no longer serves you. You've been purging that, right, all through July. This has been a heck of a transformation. But you're aligning by finally releasing those through forgiveness, through acceptance, and calling in compatible soul alignments, compatible soul contracts that are meant to walk through into August with you, into 2026. Because remember, this is the year of 9. It's completions, new beginnings. The year of 10 is coming up next year. And with this new moon in Leo that just happened, check that reading out if you haven't seen it. But this is all about new era. You're out, like you're finally releasing the out with the old aspects that has no longer served you, especially in relationships. And you're calling in and realigning to the relationships that truly are meant for you when you release what's no longer served you, what silenced your voice, or made you feel like, especially with the idea of soul contracts. So side note, stay tuned. I'm putting together a separate video that goes into the truth about the zodiac, about astrology, about soul contracts, and it touches on karma. A lot of things that we get confused with karma, It's not payment that you're meant to have or that you're meant to be paid, right? Instead, it looks at what we can confuse as a karmic contract in our South Node, which is truly a silencing that we thought was a place of safety that became a rule, that we carried on from that life into this life. That's where you're finally able to let those aspects go and recognize them as false beliefs, whether it be through traumas, whether it be through cultures. And you're finally learning to basically recognize that that's not a contract. It was a silencing of your throat chakra, of your heart chakra, of blocking your intuition, of speaking and shining your divine light from within. This is instead where you're finally able to release those. Step into that heart aspect, especially with Cancer coming through, to learn where we need to soften, to also, too, embrace Venus right now, which also, huge role at this point. Venus is asking us, like, reawakening, with us as well, and asking us, what do you want your destiny to look like? This is where you're rewriting your contracts. You're rewriting your direction. You're rewriting and stepping into a new lesson when it comes to your soul's purpose, what you want to learn next. Particularly with Uranus and Gemini in our 10th house, it's going to be influencing our work, our career, our soul's path, what truly is our passion and where we invest our energy. And that also goes with relationships as well with Venus. So this is a time where you are standing and you're utilizing your assertiveness, where you may have once been silenced before. You're seeing the direction of where you want to go with ambition, with energy, with your quick wit. You're marrying your mind and your heart. But most importantly, you're also stepping into your faith and standing firm with your crown chakra. I don't know why I can't talk. Your crown chakra wide open. And as I like to put it, because I'm just that person that has a little bit of nerdy humor, but it's fully embracing your sass. You know, life requires a little bit of sass. And what I mean by that is it's embracing your science, your art, and your spirituality, and recognizing the divine light within you. All of your hidden talents, all of your new strengths, all of your epiphanies that come through, and how your body responds to them. How you utilize them in your energy and what you put out in your craft, in your passions, in your art, and how it marries, how it's driven by your values, by your spirituality, by your faith. That's where you're coming into balance at this time, and you're dreaming large and in charge this Leo season with Pisces energy, also with Aquarian energy. That's your innovation, and also building structure when it comes to that Capricorn energy. And again, Saturn's retrograde. Saturn and Neptune are in retrograde. Pluto's in retrograde, don't ask. Retrograde. Mercury's in retrograde. Saturn, though, rules Capricorn. That's where we're building wealth. We're building structure to our dreams. That's where it's all connecting to your divine light. The sun as well, being in Leo in the 12th house, is right now fully supporting you when it comes to standing and igniting, radiating that inner light, building strength and wealth through discipline, through discernment, through structure when it comes to going after your dreams. And as we step into the 27th, as we walk into this final week of July here, and I will say I'm very excited. This next week I'm going to try and keep up. I've got so many videos that I want to do for you guys. It's more of like, okay, I'm a one-woman band. Can I do it? I know I want to do it. So thank you guys for your patience with me if I ever get these videos out not quite as early as I want to. But this next week is like so chock full of crazy amounts of energy, and it starts with the blessings on Sunday. So the moon's in Virgo in our 12th, right? It's sextile. My goodness, thank you. It's sextile with Jupiter. Jupiter's in Cancer, exalted in Cancer. Jupiter's in our 11th house. That's hopes, dreams, wishes, luck, abundance, blessings, optimism. This sextile is harmonious between and with our epiphanies, with getting in touch with our collective consciousness, tapping into our inner knowing, our intuition, our divine connection, knowing our direction in such a beautiful way. I will try my best to not get too excited with articulating it. I want to say that came in reverse, but let's see what else flew out here. Oh my goodness. Okay, check this out. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Right away, this is where you're walking into Sunday as the Queen of Pentacles energy. This is success, wealth, trusting your intuition, knowing with practicality, with that Virgo sense, pragmatic plans bring not only your sense of security, but bring in and usher in your success. This is leadership at its finest. And let me tell you, this sextile between the moon and Jupiter is such a gift. It is such a blessed day for Virgos. It's harmony, opportunities, and you're here for all of it when it comes to that Virgo energy. So we've got the analytical aspects. We're bringing order to chaos. We're taking pragmatic plans to making sense of all the downloads that we're getting. This is also where your connection to your intuition, your timelines, your mystical side of your soul's journey is fully awakened, and they're all converging with your Virgo conscious and putting order to all of it. Like I say, this is where it's like, don't be surprised, where your soul is basically tapping into past life timelines, and it's making sense to where you've been being called. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because this is where Spirit with the Four of Cups, normally it looks at stagnation, boredom, missed opportunities, or even lost in monotony, even depression. Those are like it represents in a lot of ways, in this case, a lot of the lower expressions that are tempting to silence you, to not let you go after your dreams, to go more towards your South Node, which is in Virgo, right? To go to the comfort of the lessons that you've already learned. Spirit is urging you to go towards your North Node at this point. You're being handed a cup. This is where you've got it blooming underneath, waiting for you to grab it. And more importantly, your attention is focused on the North, on your true North. This is a day to honor your spiritual practices because you're really truly tapped in to your creative flow and to your expression, standing large, living loud and proud in everything that you are. This is where, if you had been unable to move on from past events, living in the past in a lot of ways is living back through those traumas. You're basically being bound to them in a lot of ways by not releasing them. This is where, again, this weekend is all about like, oh my goodness, if you've been getting downloads, it's helping you to finally release what you've carried through that no longer serves you from timeline to timeline, from past life to current life. And this is where, if you've been unable to truly release those aspects, if they've been creeping up in one way or another, or two, if you've had opportunities that have been coming towards you with these downloads, and the fear has been really hovering around, I guess, like that itch you can't scratch in a lot of ways, and has put a hesitation, basically, is what I want to say, towards wanting to take that step forward, towards your creative flow, towards your expression, towards fully standing and shining in everything that you are. This is the day, especially with this sextile in Jupiter and with Jupiter and the moon, that you are chasing your dreams with such a passion that your fears cannot keep up. With the Chariot card, also 2 with the 7, that's our spiritual number, right? This is where you're focusing on your energies, and you're focusing your energies towards change. And change is coming in. So this is a day, like I say, especially with Uranus in Gemini in your 10th house. Uranus is shaking things up lately, especially with this move, especially with July. All of our outer planets have changed signs. We also have 4 retrogrades here. This is like, no one has experienced this in thousands of years. Especially with Uranus, no one has experienced this move in 84 years. So this is the time, truly, especially with this sextile with Jupiter. Jupiter is blessing you and kind of giving you that friendly nudge of like, you got this, don't worry, you got this, trust me, go for it. Your emotional well-being too with Jupiter is also being enriched during this time. It's softening. So if you have been struggling with any of Uranus's shakeups or the lower expressions of the 12th house, this is the day where it's energetically compared to, how I would put it is, it's comparable to that morning sunrise after a storm hits overnight, and it was a big one. Like the cats and the dogs are hiding underneath the bed. Some of those lightning strikes were so close and so big, kind of thing. There's local area flooding risks. There's downed limbs and loss of power. This is where this day brings the calm after the storm. So if you've been having these epiphanies, this is the day where it truly unveils those old wounds that you've either been suppressing, that you've been carrying through from timeline to timeline, from past life to this life, and it paves the way with the Chariot for healing old wounds and cultivating peace in ways that are so prolific that they'll truly bring these feelings. And they've gotten me feeling this way too, where it's like, I know who I am. I know what I'm meant to do. I know what I'm made for, why I chose this life, why I chose these lessons, and where I'm meant to go, and the power, the strength that I hold. I know what was taken from me, and I'll be taking that back now. And that's what's going on here. You are taking your power back, and you are taking the reins, and you are leaving behind that old era, and you are walking steady with the Six of Staffs towards your prosperity. This is triumph. This is success. This is the fruits of your labor. All of your soul contracts and lessons that you have signed up for. You're conquering and surpassing, letting go of those traumas, and you're attaining the next level. Now just remember, new levels, new devils, but what you're aligning with is choosing a path of abundance, personal satisfaction. This is like if you were traumatized in ways that had taught you that you were meant for service, or that you needed to suffer in order to succeed, or that you needed to earn love. This is where you're coming into an alignment with affirmations in particular, with strong soul language, soul ties, with intent, with feeling, with action, that you are living and walking towards your life of abundance. Feel it, walk through it, embrace your vulnerability, embody your gratitude this weekend, because this next week truly starts with huge shifts in claiming your power as we walk into August. Oh my gosh. And two, it all fosters, thank you, this prolific sense of belonging that you can be felt, and that can only be felt truly as, I'm coming home. I'm going home. I'm going to where I was meant to always be. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, share your thoughts in the comments below, because what we've got here, this is, wow, so powerful. You are attuning. You're reconciling any type of hidden, suppressed past wound, past life wound, and you're achieving that harmony, that internal balance, the healing that your soul, your path truly was designed for. And you're standing in your truth through your creative arts, through your mastery of your art. And with the 14, it reduces to a 5, right? This is a merriment of new beginnings and foundations and structure when it comes to your connection with the divine, with the radiance of your inner divine light. And two, it's got that fire radiating in your truth as you stand prolifically, holistically in your truth. This is also where, like I say, it's voluntary change. You're embracing the strength of your vulnerability, and you're no longer looking at it as a weakness, what we've been cultured or preconditioned to think. This is also where you're looking and seeing the hidden enemies as they are, for what they are, for what they're meant to teach you, not what they're meant to take from you, right? This is also where you're following your intuition, your inner compass, your subconscious. You're marrying it with your spirituality, with your conscious, and you're consciously breaking those old ties that have caused anxiety, fear, depression, and instead you're allowing it to pave the way towards your dreams. This is where with the, oh my goodness, with the Eight of Swords in reverse, it's truly the beginning of an awakening. It's the release of constraints. And remember, the easiest way to end a soul contract, to break the chains, watch and feel them literally dissolve, those bondages, that liberation, to feel that liberation and freedom from any injustices, is forgiveness, is acceptance, not to condone harm, but to know that you release yourself from it through standing in, finding your voice, through standing in your power, and also too, not entangling yourself with it any longer. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But before we walk into this week, before we go, I just want to get some additional messages from our ancestors. Because like I say, this weekend is so tied in with past life soul contracts. And, you know, like I say, karma is not about debt. Karma is about basically resolving any outstanding, unfinished business. So it goes into the idea of if someone's done you wrong, or if you've done others wrong, you're learning those lessons through the soul's eyes in a way that basically understands that we are all one. They were meant to teach you lessons. You were meant to teach them lessons, and to finally absolve those unfinished business aspects basically allows you to embrace the magic that's within, and that's basically through your transformation by and through via transmutation. This is where you're able to courageously let go of the past. The magic of the nature is within you. You were born with this right, and you were born with this gift. Your light is meant to be brilliant, and you truly are blessed. This is also with the fox. I love it when I get the fox. I'm just saying. I always think of my time up north that I got to spend this last year. So, true story, after I was done working at sunrise or sunset, dependent upon, you know, whatever time it was that I was able to get out, there was a local resident fox in the city that I was in. It was the smallest city in my state. And anyway, I would be walking, and it's amazing how fox are able to, I didn't quite realize it being this, like, that far up north, but since they're one of the natural smaller predators, they found a much easier coexistence with humans than they did necessarily against like wolves and bear. And the packs up there were very large. So we had a resident fox in our city. Anyway, super nice guy, as I would put it. But he was so sweet. He would actually end up going on walks with me, and he would end up sleeping at the Parks and Rec building in their like HVAC area. So he literally slept right next door. He was my neighbor, and he would walk me home every time after I would go on these walks. But the fox is truly to remind you that you are swift and you are smart. Solutions to problems are easily found when you look within. Listen to your instincts always. Resources surround you. And with foxes, I'm a hopeless romantic, but they mate for life. They are such hopeless romantics, just like me. Be open to romance during this time, because Venus has been asking you, what do you want your destiny to look like? One of the opportunities that could be coming in is, especially with all this talk of partnerships, is partnership in love as well. So before we go, let's take a look at our major arcana. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. So right away, we are looking at the third eye, and then we're also looking at the crown. So this is tapping in, receiving those downloads, also to healing those soul contracts that you've carried with you, also to healing those preconditions, those rules that we've set and carried with us that no longer serve us, that have tricked us into feeling things, into living ways that we're not meant to live and that we're not meant to feel any longer. So with music therapy, what we pulled is the G sharp and the B. And then color therapy, what we pulled, this is gorgeous because we've got magenta and indigo. This is all about reminding yourself of the divine inner light that each and every one of us has. You are royalty. You were meant to shine. So try playing around with these chords, try playing around with these colors, but either way, what I also see in this is gorgeous, is where you are walking from this weekend into August, into the last week of July, into Leo season, standing strong with your inner fire radiating, standing in your truth and dreaming big, following and calling in those new alignments, those new soul contracts that are truly meant to be for you in your highest timeline as you walk forward as your highest self. And so I truly hope that this reading helps. Happy weekend, and I will see you in the next reading. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care.